it's me. Welcome to my channel. First and foremost, I would like to apologize because there's a good chance there's gonna be a lot of background noise because it's been raining all week. It's raining right now. The roads are wet, there's cars driving by, so it's even like louder than normal. It's gonna be raining all week next week as well, apparently. So even if I wanted to record this later on, it's just gonna probably be the same result. So I thought, might as well just do it now. What difference does it make? So here I am. So if, like me, you grew up in subcontinental Asia during the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s, you might remember a particular channel called Animax that was dedicated to airing anime 24/7, 365 days a year. Before Animax, obviously, we had other channels like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and Disney Channel that obviously had like cartoon shows on it as well. Cartoon Network in particular was also airing anime at the time on Toonami, which I didn't know was anime until we got Animax because I just thought they were like regular American cartoons. But Animax was a game changer because it introduced so many people outside of Japan to the world of anime. And for me personally, it wouldn't be an exaggeration when I say that that channel changed my life. Like, I was always obsessed with cartoons and animations, but with the introduction of Animax, I was introduced to the world of anime. And once I was in, well, obviously, I never wanted to get out. Animax came into my life like a storm, and just as suddenly it was quickly taken off. It was devastating. Internet at the time sucked. If you wanted to watch anything, you would have to wait an hour for it to buffer and then hope and pray that, like, your internet connection wouldn't get messed up in between, so you would have to re-buffer that all over again. It was a whole mess. So when I say I took the loss of Animax personally, that's an understatement. At the time, it had introduced me to so many good shows. Stuff like Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Inuyasha, Full Metal Alchemist, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Bakano, which is number 2 on my top 10 list. Just so many other different shows that I still love to this day and I know are so popular now. But there was also a good chunk of anime that would air that I see haven't really gained the sort of popularity that I kind of expected it would. I specifically remember there being a bunch of shows that I think I liked. At the very least, they've made enough of an impression for me to remember them, like, 10, 15 years later. So I decided to rewatch some of them. And, well, I can say now with certainty that yes, there were some shows out there that were very good and some shows that were questionable. I'm not really sure what was going on with them, but it is what it is. Today I will be talking about what I believe is a very underrated shonen anime series that I don't think gets as much love as it deserves. The Law of Ueki is a shonen anime based on the manga by Tsubasa Fukuchi that aired between 2005 and 2006 and has 51 episodes. The story of the Law of Ueki is pretty simple. It's about 100 celestial beings who are competing against each other to become the next celestial king or god. They descend from the celestial plane onto Earth, and each of them pick out a junior high school student that they give a specific power to so that the junior high kids can basically duke it out in a sort of battle royale-esque setting. The last person standing wins, and the celestial being who's sponsoring them gets to be the next god. Now, for me personally, any series or any story, like whether it's a book or an anime, anything that has some sort of magic system in it is super interesting because I love to see how the the writer, like how creative the writer can get with this magic system that they're building within their universe, especially when it comes to superpowers. I look forward to every episode and every new character that gets introduced because I want to see what kind of powers they have. The law of Ueki is very unique in its magic system. The best way that I think I can describe how the creator came up with these powers is he probably just took a look around all the stuff that he has in his house and just went, hmm, what if? What if trash could turn into trees? What if towels could turn into steel? What if tomatoes could turn into magma? Or your forehead could turn into diamond? What if you could turn beads into bombs? What if you could turn your ideals into reality? Every single set of these powers have a limitation to them. So for example, Ueki, who has the power to turn trash into trees, can only turn trash that he can physically hold in both hands into trees. Sano, who can turn towels into steel, can only do so while he's holding his breath. Not only are the powers themselves like super quirky, setting up these limitations also forces the user to get really, really creative in how they use them. So for example, there's this one antagonistic character who has the power to turn electricity into sugar, which honestly is a pretty useless power. But if he takes off the limitations of that power, the sugar grains turn back into electricity. And I think that's one of the things that makes this anime so great. The setup is pretty like straightforward. Kosuke Ueki, who is our main character, gets chosen by one of the god candidates, Kobayashi, who disguises himself as their junior high school teacher, so his Kobayashi sensei. Now Ueki has to fight all these other power users so that Kobayashi sensei can ultimately become god. Other than the limitations to these powers, there's also a set of rules that all of these candidates must follow. Every individual person has their own unique set of skills or talents. They're nothing grand or unique. They're like normal everyday skills that help you get through life. For example, the talent to study, or the talent to run, the talent to cook. And once you no longer have those talents, you are, for example, no longer a good student. Like, it takes you much longer to understand things that you normally wouldn't have if you still had that talent. As a power user, if you defeat another power user, you get an additional talent. But if you attack and hurt a non-power user, like a regular human being, you get stripped off of a talent. And once you lose every single one of your talents, you vanish. You are no more. You are an X-person. Other than the fact that whoever wins, their sponsor gets to become the next Celestial King. The student who wins also ends up getting the talent of blank, which is basically a wooden slate where you can write down any talent that you want and it'll be granted to you. So let's talk about what makes Ueki a great shonen protagonist, or at the very least a very underrated shonen protagonist. Ueki is selfless. Ueki is empathetic. Ueki is caring. He is confident. He is smart. Well, maybe not smart, but he's clever. He's very quick-witted and he thinks really fast. And he's very observant, especially during fight. He is creative. He has a dead mom. He has an absentee shitty biological father, which I'll get to. And he cares a lot about his friends as well. Obviously, he has that natural leadership and charisma that brings people together. Oh, he has the power of the talking no jutsu, where he talks to someone from the opposing team and wins them over, sets them off on the right path. So he's got all the makings of like a really good shonen protagonist. Obviously, he's also like greatly overpowered. From the beginning of the series, you can see that Ueki is just really good at fighting, which doesn't make that much of a difference because nearly every single character you come across seems to have a really good handle on their power and is good at fighting. But Ueki is also very resilient, and he's got the sort of strength, superhuman strength, that other ordinary people don't seem to have. And that kind of got me thinking, like, why is this kid like so super strong? Like, I've never seen him train like even once. There's this one scene where he has to carry like this big cinder block for 3 days straight without food or water, and obviously he's able to do it, but how? Turns out Ueki himself is also a celestial being. So basically what happened is 12 years before this whole game was announced, to select the next god, Ueki's dad basically drops Ueki off into the human world in the hopes that when he gets chosen to be one of the candidates, he'll go down and give Ueki a power and get him to fight and win so that he can become god. But unfortunately, for him, because karma's a bitch, he never gets chosen as a god candidate, so he has no chance of becoming king. So poor old Ueki was sent down to earth for no good reason. His biological dad was a piece of shit. The competition is basically divided into 2 rounds. The first round is just all out, free for all. If you come across a power user, make sure you knock them out. The first round is basically to reduce the number of competitors to 25, so that in the second round you team up and fight against each other in teams of 5. Even though the series is 51 episodes long, it does have 3 major arcs that are sort of like condensed. I don't really know how the manga goes, but I did say it's got like over like 150 chapters. So I think there's probably a few things here and there that were sort of cut down to accommodate all the 3 arcs. So it is a bit fast paced. One of the things that I found to be a little annoying is that Ueki just immediately within the 10-minute battle powers up like so fast, and it just kind of irks me a little bit. Like, I feel like you could have, spent a little bit more time in developing him and his powers, but like I said, 3 arcs, 51 episodes, not a lot of time, so everything needs to be done like fast. And this is also a very PG shonen. Like, people get bruised and battered, but you'll never see a single drop of blood, except for that one scene where a character gets swallowed whole like a python.
Sir, this is a kids shonen. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop.
It's very mild. It's an adventure story about friendship and the relationships you make along the way. I absolutely love Ueki as a main character, not just because of all the good things that make him a good character, but it's just he's such a lovable little goof. I don't know, I just want to protect him all the time. Like, just put him in a little jar and keeping him away from all the dangers of the world. Just small little nature being. All in all, it's a good show. I do think it's very underrated. I kind of hope that more people watch it. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hustle! Hustle!